All right, if the company you work in, healthcare hospital, doesn't have Salesforce, should I try to sell them the idea to implement the service? How would I go about doing that? Would Salesforce replace other people's jobs? So that's kind of the catch-22, and Salesforce is very upfront about this being the fourth industrial revolution, and whether we're in the third or if this is the fourth, that's a debate that, is above my pay grade and mental capacity. But suffice it to say that there is innovation afoot, and technology is increasing at an ever increasing rapid pace. And with those advancements comes new jobs as other jobs are made obsolete, and in previous industrial revolutions, candle makers had a tough time. We've seen a lot of changes as far as people that made horse and buggy carriages had a hard time remaining relevant once the automobile came along. And so I think that the underpinning of this question is, if he's trying to get Salesforce experience in his current job, does he run the risk of either Salesforce wiping out his job or somebody else's job? There's always that risk, but the nice thing is, in the Salesforce ecosystem, is the pronounced skills shortage. And so, it is one of those things to where, and I've seen this happen more than a few times, is that you come into an organization, and one of these was a healthcare organization, and there were a lot of people whose jobs were easily not outsourceable, but could be replaced with more automation that Salesforce provided. And you will hit this as well, like in some of these jobs that you may be doing as a consultant, especially, you may be brought into a company and you'll need to interview people and find out what they're doing in their current job. And there's a lot of fear and resistance that you'll be greeted with, because underneath that, people might realize, like, oh, this specialist might figure out that I'm not doing much, or that what I'm doing could be automated. And that's not your responsibility. That's not your concern. You just want to be on the right side of that equation, to where you have skills that aren't easily automated. And that's why you're going through this boot camp and learning Salesforce. And that's just the role that we find ourselves in life, is that we need to adapt. And it's probably the most complex time, I guess, in human history, to where we're having to adapt more and more frequently in order to remain relevant. And that's why I gravitated to Salesforce, was because I saw it as the most attainable path to relevant skills, because I saw my existing skills in the technical writer space, I was hitting a ceiling, basically. So that's a good question. I kind of getting into some moral dilemmas there, and I want to shy away from landing directly, beyond just my own opinion. Is that the way you can sell a company on any idea, though, if they should implement Salesforce, is and with any company, or if you're selling anything, whether it's a product or a service, the reason business exists is to save time or to make money. And so that's the meaning of business. And so if you can solve a problem, reduce pain, reduce friction, save people time, save people money, or make money, then it's going to sell itself. And so that's what Salesforce does really well. And that's why they have sold so well, is because they have won the war of easy, and you can rapidly develop things on the platform. And so now they've gone out and they've sold Salesforce to a lot of companies. And the problem now is, for Salesforce, is there's not enough talent to implement the solutions. And that's probably Salesforce's biggest threat, is not a competitor at this point, but a lack of talent. And that's why I'm out here trying to get people trained up, because I recognize that as a potential thing. That's like the thing that I see that can take Salesforce down, is that people could look at Salesforce versus Microsoft Dynamics or some other CRM and go, well, .NET developers are all over the place, so I'm going to go with Microsoft, And so I know we're kind of branching into some philosophical things, but I do think about these things more than I let on. So that's my answer, and I'm sticking to it.